Alright, hello and welcome back. So, today we have two of the last magic types. So, you have your divine magic users, also known as those of the mystic arts, all of that fun stuff. They're specifically called shaman. Now, these people, as some of you may have heard with my live streams, are smaller in their numbers, so they hold special governmental seats generally, and they are born into these seats. Now, this doesn't mean that they come from a family line. This doesn't mean that they come from anything, specific. It is just that they are born from the rare few numbers with this magical type. Now, many of them, just about all of them, have the ability to heal, which is a very unique ability that is not seen amongst any other IF. So this is something that allows many of them to work in hospitals very well as some of them can even see the future. So the ability to be able to see the future is an ability that they are not innately born with. They generally find this at around puberty. So if they don't find that they are able to see the future at around that time, like around that age, this means that they do not have this ability. But they will notice that they will have the ability to heal others from a very young age, usually around between the ages of 3 and 5 years old. Their magic is not so much as a combative type magic, it's very utilitarian. So it's not really a good thing for combat specifically. At one point in time, and this is going back a little bit in the history, is that it was believed that these types of mages were given these abilities from the gods. But since, time has passed, this is no longer something that is readily believed, at least not amongst the IF. On some of the other continents and islands, this is still something that's likely believed, but not on the main continent. In some extremely, extremely rare cases where we've only seen this happen with 1 or 2 shaman, is that they're actually born with the ability to use both the mystic arts and an elemental magic type. This is extremely rare and not common at all. These shamans specifically who are able to tap into an elemental magic type have the ability to also use a manifestation. Shamans do not have a manifestation except for the select few that have been born with an elemental magic type. So, that being said, that is the long and the short of the mystic arts, divine magics, and the shaman. I will actually go in more depth on the governmental branches later in another video. But right now, all I'm doing is going over the final 2 magic types. So, the final magic type is considered or called the pure magic type. This magic type is only found with those from the original bloodline of the ruling families. This is not necessarily an uncommon magic type, but it is only found within one family branch. And there is a history for this family branch that I will get into in another video. But know that this family is very large, and they are all the regional rulers. So this is a very bloodline-based magic. So it is called pure magic. And this magic type is very unique in that, they don't have manifestations normally, unless, they do end up having some elemental magic capabilities. And some regional rulers do have the elemental magic, which allows them to have a conduit or a manifestation. It is actually being seen more as the generations progress that more of these pure mages are actually born with elemental magics. So this seems to be something that is becoming very common, and this is also likely due to the fact that there is no more, you know, trying to keep the bloodline pure like it used to be a long time ago. So because of that, this is likely in part because the bloodline isn't pure, quote unquote, you know. So they're considered to be the purest magic users. Their abilities are very unique in that the pure magic form has the ability to enhance other magic users, and they themselves, if they are only born with this pure magic type, they're able to use their magic very differently. So it's hard to really explain properly, and maybe I will get some, maybe if I can convince someone to come and explain it better, I will. But from my understanding is this. Those born with the pure magic have the ability to enhance the magical powers of others, which is why they're put in seats of power for military forces. So they do that, but their magic also can be used in a way of fine-tuning as well. So say that they use their magic to help another mage, they can actually not only amplify those abilities, but help the mage fine-tune them further. Now, this actually can make those of the pure, like, of this bloodline very dangerous if they are born with an elemental magic type. So they can not only then increase their own magical capabilities, but also fine-tune these magical capabilities to a point that is seemingly almost very difficult for others to do quickly, I should say. Because other mages can learn to do this on their own, it just takes a very long time. So with a pure mage or a regional ruler, this can be done much faster without the extra, you know, learning and things like that that need to come along with it. So the regional rulers actually are very utilitarian, much like those of the mystic arts. That's kind of one of the reasons why I lumped them together. But at this point in time, it seems to be about 50-50 for the regional rulers who are born with the elemental magics and those who are born without. So right now we have quite the split, and this makes things very interesting because it leads us to believe that one day the regional rulers may all, or nearly all, be born with their pure magic or their elemental magics. Like, both of them together. So, the other thing, too, about them is that one of the other reasons why, you know, they're given a region to rule is that within their city, usually their city borders encompass the area within where that they can expand out the aura that allows them to amplify the magical capabilities of the Eif within those borders. So this is also one of the reasons why it's not uncommon for as a regional ruler to come to power for them to move a capital city, because not all regional rulers will have the ability to have their magic reach to the same border that the last one was able to. So this doesn't necessarily mean that one was stronger than the other or one was weaker than the other. It's kind of similar to the manifestations in how the number, the size, or anything in between does not necessarily mean that that Eif is stronger than another Eif. So it's kind of one of those things, like, they just have a certain range. And within each range, you know, it just... trying to find the right words. So within the range of the city limits, usually those Eif will be able to have their abilities to be heightened when the regional ruler grants access. So in other cases as well, still going on the pure magic types and the regional rulers, because unfortunately I can't talk about the pure magic without the regional rulers, and it kind of goes hand in hand. So I have to make a whole other video to talk about the governmental branches at a later date. So, majority of the regional rulers will have a manifestation of sorts. Now, their manifestation is extremely unique in the fact that it's almost spirit-like. So I know I've touched on like a spirit-esque, spirit-like type manifestation with the shadow mages, and this kind of actually goes with something that was believed at one point and is still being disputed, is that a lot of pure mages are actually in fact most likely related to shadow mages to some extent, and this actually leads us around to as well to the light mages and what are their connections, and are they connected to the mystic arts mages. Now, we don't have any definite answers on this at this time. We're still doing, you know, research and study on this type of stuff. But because the light mages and the shadow mages are born within minutes to a couple hours of each other, and their manifestations, it is believed that there's a chance that either both or one of them actually may in fact have some unique tie from many, many past generations of the ruling family back before Firia was linked to Earth. Now, it's hard to say exactly because obviously some documentation may have been lost, some documentation is still being uncovered, and there was the one family who did leave and then come back 300 years later. We still do not know a lot of information and are still trying to find a lot of information to try and, you know, either prove or disprove whether these two magic types are also linked to the pure magic and mystic arts. So that's another reason why I brought in the dark and the light magic. So all in all, that's pretty much the whole gist of the mystic arts versus the pure magic. I know the pure magic was a little bit longer than the mystic arts, but this is because there's certain things that I had to explain about one versus the other, and it kind of made it a little uneven. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it may be for you. And as always, guys, sweet nightmares. Bye-bye.